Hello, my name is Holly Maholm, and I am a transgender woman, as you see. And I'm here being recorded, talking about my book, which has just been released, which is one right here, which I was thoughtful enough to bring, Offered Magic, My Life Among the Unicorns. Now, where did this book come from and how did I become an author? Well, in January 2016, I made contact with a publication in Chicago, a magazine, which is known as Grab Magazine. It is produced and read by gay, lesbian, transgender people in Chicago. It's been around for more than 20 years, comes out every 2 weeks. It's very popular. As you may know, Chicago has a much larger LGBT population than Cleveland or most other large cities. So it's a quite a popular publication. So I started writing for them in January 2016 as their transgender columnist, regular columnist. So for about a half a year, I wrote little articles, 1-page, 800-word articles on general subjects relating to transgender and LGBT people. So I enjoyed that. But after about 6 months, I realized I can't go on like this because you run out of topics, and I was deathly afraid of having to write about Orange Man Bad or write something else like that was political, because God knows back then we were getting way too much politics as it was. And I just didn't want to add to it. So I thought, I've got to come up with another idea to reach readers in our little world, and to do so in a way that involves humor and that yet lets me address some of the challenges and problems that people in our world, transgender world, face every day. So it occurred to me that it would be fun to have a totally fictional transgender woman named Holly go down to her local gay bar, where many of the readership of Grab Magazine hang out, you can understand. And so Holly goes to the gay bar, and what does she do? She meets Sassy Pants. Now, Sassy Pants is a unicorn, an actual 4-footed with a horn unicorn, not some metaphorical creature, not anything symbolic, but a real live flesh and blood magical unicorn. So starting in September of 2016, I began to write the story of Holly's adventures with the unicorns and Holly's adventures living in a fictional little town called Wellington, in which there were other transgender women, black and white. There were gay guys, there were lesbians, and of course there were ordinary cis people. There were some veterans who were living out in the woods. And of course, you can never avoid fundamentalist Christians who wanted all of us to go away. So I had characters, I had a location, and I had the wonderful, adorable unicorns to talk about. So that was in September 2016. And the adventures began there, and they continued for a year, and another year, and another year, and another year. And they continued for 5.5 years until today, as a matter of fact. They're still going on now. It is about 140 episodes so far of Holly and the unicorns and her gay friends. So after 126 episodes, I decided it's time to collect these into a book, time to get them in a place where that people can find the background. Because if someone in Chicago picks up an issue of Grab magazine today, they don't know all the background. They don't know Sassy Pants. They don't know about Queen Penelope, Queen of the Unicorns. They don't know about Victor and Fletcher and Glitter and all the other unicorns. They don't know what the magical properties of unicorns are. And they don't know all the history of my LGBT friends. So I collected them into this book, Offered Magic, My Life Among the Unicorns. The first 126 episodes, which is 274 pages, which is a lot of things happening. And I just want to say a few things about it because as an author, as a writer, it was a challenge because every episode I get 800 words. I can fudge it up to about 810, but they've got to be smaller words. So about 800 words. And every episode has to have some humor. It has to have some, I don't want to say message, but there has to be something that advances the story, something that tells us more about our characters. In the beginning, and even now, I'm having to introduce new characters, and you'd be surprised how hard it is to introduce a brand new character, and you only get 350 words to do it. Well, let me tell you that if you're a writer and you want to grow as a writer, one of the things you can do that will help you get better is to give yourself a self-imposed limitation of 800 words. And you have to capture your reader's attention. You have to make them laugh. Maybe you have to make them a little sad. Maybe you have to have them questioning what's going to happen next. And there are many, many of the episodes that when they get to the end, you're wondering what's going to happen next. So it's quite challenging. It's quite fun. But one of the big challenges is I have to keep the quality up, because if the quality falls down, let me tell you, there are lots of other authors who would love to replace me. So it's just, it's been a tremendous experience. It's been exciting. I've gotten to meet and talk to so many people in our little world. Now you're asking yourself, what can Holly do in Wellington that would be worth reading about? Well, let's see. We had a gay wedding. There are a couple of gay guys who are older gentlemen, and they got married. And of course, when they were going to be having the wedding and they were planning their wedding, I suggested they needed a wedding carriage. And what better to pull the wedding carriage than unicorns? Now, unicorns are magical, and I'll give away one important area of their magic, which is that they can disguise themselves. They can disguise themselves as a horse. You know, you can't disguise themselves as a hamster because that's just not going to work. But they can disguise themselves as a horse. So many times the unicorns have gone out on the square in Wellington, pulled a carriage, spent time with children, old folks curric home the unicorns and the horses in the square. So it's given me an opportunity to imagine what would it be like if there really were unicorns and if they had certain necessary magical qualities, but they don't have ridiculous qualities. They can't fly. I can't think of other things people think they do, but they can't. There are some people who think that unicorn poo is something magically sweet and is comparable to, soft serve raspberry ice cream. No. Ordinary poo. Although the good thing about unicorn poo is that if you put it on your tomatoes, you will have the best tomatoes you have ever tasted in your life. So that's one good thing. So there's a lot I had to invent as we go along, a lot that was exciting, a lot that had to be worked out. When you're creating characters who are magical, and like unicorns, you have to be careful. You have to play by the rules and things they can do and can't do. And then when you're dealing with the human characters, you have to be honest and authentic about who they are, the lives that they lead, and the struggles that they face in life. And that's been the most rewarding part of writing to me, is being able to capture in story form how my friends in the book, Dave and Mike, the gay guys, Dot, the lesbian, Allie, another transgender woman, Cindy, Zandra, two other transgender women. Everything has to be as authentic as possible. Yes, there's unicorns in the story, but everything must be as authentic to the human heart as we can possibly be. So that's what I've been struggling with. So that is the story of this book, Offered Magic. It's unexpected. It's easy to read. You can read 2 pages a night, and it's not long chapters. So it's easy to get through, a lot to think about. And I think, if there's anything enjoyable about this, it will be the humor of unicorns. Most people, for example, are not aware that unicorns love donuts. They really, really love donuts. They will do anything to get donuts. Don't I know? But my other friends, LGBT friends, they've had adventures. They've faced challenges. And I hope that you will, if you want to take a trip to an imaginary land where unicorns live happily, quietly, productively, humorously with LGBT folks, you can come to a place where there's offered magic.